Welcome to the People Chronicles. I'm Jackie Hoffman, and we are joined today by Gwen Didden. Gwen, it's nice to have you here.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
The way that we start our People Chronicles each and every week is we ask the same question, so we don't throw out any trick questions.
Okay.
What do you want our viewers and listeners to learn from your story today?
Well, I guess the one thing I want people to learn is that you can always make a U-turn. You don't have to stay in a stuck place. If you've made some bad decisions in your life, you can always turn that around to go from a mess to a miracle.
And how do you do that? That's such a great big statement that you make. What is it that you do for a living?
Well, I'm the executive director of Family Promise of Berks County. We work with homeless families, homeless teens, and we do rental assistance for the county of Berks.
And how did you possibly get into a situation that you're in right now and such a great big title that you have and so many different things to do?
Well, I ask myself that every day, to be honest with you. But actually, it's a process. It's been quite a process. But it started in social work and working in this community in the early 90s in different housing and through some challenges I went through. I was a single mom. I had left an abusive relationship and found myself needing to reach out to public assistance and some social service agencies so I could get back on my feet. And it took me about 3 years. I got my first degree and got back on my feet, and I made a point in my soul to say, I am going to give back. This community has been amazing to me, helped me rebuild my life, helped me make a life so I can give my children a good life and not be a statistic. I'm going to give back.
And that's it in a nutshell, but there's so much more of a story that lies underneath. With our folks that are listening, how do you explain to them that you can get yourself back up off of the ground, and here's where you can find yourself as well? Where did you find that inner strength, or where was that voice? Where did that come from around you that said, I got this, I can do it?
Well, I think it started with one main, if I have to really trace it back to the time when, it was definitely a spiritual awakening for me was one part of it. I had to realize there's something bigger than me out there, and I needed to exercise my faith, because I think in my own self I probably would have just laid down and given up. So the faith part was a core for me. But then I actually started sort of looking at people that have made it and were successful, and I would question them, or I'd glean from them, what did they do? And I found three main principles that when I started doing them, it really helped. One was being a woman of my word. It didn't cost me anything, but when I said something, I meant it, and I did it, and I followed through. And so being a person of your word, or woman of your word, was one. A second one was to show up and participate. Not just show up somewhere and just sort of let everything around you happen, but to show up and participate. And I sort of liken that to the days that I go to the gym and I really work the treadmill, and some days the treadmill works me. Right. Well, the days I participate does a whole lot better than the days the treadmill's just pulling me. So, and the last one is sort of own your stuff. You know, we all have stuff. We've all made mistakes. Give yourself some grace and mercy and keep on going. Try to do better. With each day, just make it a do-over and try to do better. So I just really started those three principles that have worked very successful for me, and I've been able to not only make a success in my own life, but now help others who are in this situation, who have made some poor choices and gotten in a stuck place, that they have been able to turn around and make a difference. Well,
opposed to focusing on your story and you, can you take one person that you can think of, maybe an individual that you actually could just take by the hand and recite their story and the steps that you've gone through to help them to get where they're at today? Can you think of a success story of someone?
Oh, there's many, but yes, I can. And this actually it takes me back to when I was the executive director at Beacon House, which was a transitional housing program in our community. And I met a young woman. She had 3 children and was also leaving a very somewhat abusive relationship. And really did not believe in herself much, but just knew she couldn't stay here. And I saw so much potential in her that she didn't see in herself. I'll never forget the first day I interviewed her. She just kept, to come into the program, she just kept saying, I know I need to do something, but I don't know. I have these little ones, and I have all this baggage, and I don't know if I can do it. And it really just took a matter of saying, I believe in you. I know you can do this. And that gave her the strength to believe in herself. Well, this woman, not only was she my sort of star person, she enrolled in school. She started she had gotten her high school diploma already, so she started in college. And just this last year, she reached out to me. I hear from her periodically that she's now in a master's program. She works for a university around here and is wildly successful, and actually is in a successful marriage now, and just such amazing things. And she'll periodically reach back to me and say, do you remember those days, that I just didn't even think I can do it? But just to have somebody to believe in her, that she can do this, and encourage her and share my story with her. I really look at her as somebody that just makes me go all warm inside when I think about her.
Oh, absolutely.
She's done great.
And those are the things that are priceless with a job like yours.
Very much so.
And, numbers are real important. Statistics are everything to some people. But the stories, like you just told, are extra important as well. What about the people who you try and take by the hand, but they'll fall back 10 steps? Because that happens too in, relationships, and they want to try and make a go of it. And it's not just women, it's men as well.
Very much so. And we see that a lot with my agency, because we're the only agency that can service single fathers, so they can come if they have a single children in their custody, which is more and more I'm seeing over the years. We're able to help them. Other agencies are not able to help them because of the way they're structured. So I definitely have seen people that throughout the years, and I'm not saying this about single fathers, I'm just making a point, but just people throughout the years who we do everything we can to help them, and we give all of our experience, strength, and hope to them, and they just shoot themselves in the foot. They just sabotage themselves. And really, all we can do is let them know that we're always here. We're still here, and let them know that maybe you need to hurt a little bit more, but when you're ready, come and do the work. We don't want to force you to do something you don't want to do, but we do have something to offer to you. So it's hard sometimes in our own soul, because we want people to do better. I mean, we want them to do good. We're cheering them on, but sometimes they're just not ready for it. And you have to just let them have their process.
All right, Gwen, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to find out more about your agency. We're going to find out about the next step, and we're going to find out how this community has helped you out as much as they can, and what you need from the community. So we'll be back on the People Chronicles.
Great. Thank you.